Well, welcome back. We are the Entrepreneur's Edge, and we are here to talk about all the things branding, business, wealth building. And I am joined by my wonderful friends, Anthony Blanco and Danielle J. Martin. Hello, friends.
Hello.
We are back. I'm excited.
I am excited.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
That means we got some fresh content. We are wired and ready to go.
Yes.
We are. And I can't remember what we talked about last time we had a podcast. It was a lot of stuff, and we went on a lot of tangents because I think we all come to the table with lots of different lenses and areas of expertise and some good nuggets.
Right.
But I think in this environment, whether it's our economic environment, our business environment, the fact that it's blazing hot in the summer right now when we're recording this, Danielle's going to sweat through her darling shirt.
I'm just melting over here. It's okay.
I want to talk about, in all of our lanes, what has resilience meant to you this year? So if you think about in the areas of branding, the elements of business coaching, and the elements of wealth building, here we are just over halfway through 2025. We have a, different person in the White House. We have different economic times. We have changes, all that kind of stuff. What does that word mean to you? Being resilient.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got it. Okay.
No, go ahead.
All right. So resilience for me is very similar with persistence. Consistency resilience is doing the same. You're so clear in what you are going to be doing. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. It doesn't matter what's happening in the economy. You're still going to be working towards that goal. So frequently I tell people this, and I've probably mentioned it on podcasts that you and I have done, is that you have to be a rock in your determination. You have to be like a river in flow. And so no matter, like a river as it's flowing, no matter what gets in front of it, it goes under, it goes around, it goes through, it goes over the obstacle in order to get to the destination. And so resilience to me is that you are persistent and consistent moving forward despite the economy, despite who's in the White House. Tony Robbins brought that up, and he's like, I've been through, I forget what it was, like 10 presidents, and nobody really made an impact on my business, and I grew it in all situations.
Yeah.
I love it. What about you? What does resilience mean to you in your business?
Resilience for me this year is not being afraid to pivot and start over, even when it doesn't make sense, because moving forward is going to give you the clarity that you need. But I think we live in a generation that we have to have all the answers before moving forward or before even starting. Mm-hmm. And so I think that I wear it on my sleeve that if you need to pivot, if you need to start over, if you don't like what you're doing, don't be afraid to do that, because who are you doing it for? And kind of like Anthony said, where does your foundation lie? And for me, like he said, it doesn't matter, honestly, what's going on in politics. I really don't. It's not my lane. It's not my avenue. But at the end of the day, God and faith is my firm foundation. And so I wear that so proudly now. And I've actually incorporated it in my brand, because I feel like in order for me to do this, I have to be bold enough to talk about truly what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I think for me, it's being open and honest and saying that actually God is my everything. But there was a time where I was afraid to wear that on my sleeve because I don't want to turn away certain people. Mm-hmm. And I think it's well, actually, if those people are no longer attracted to what I'm doing, then I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm actually serving a different group of people. And so I think it's just asking yourself, what does your firm foundation look like? Is it steady? Is it hard? Is it secure? And if it's not, that's why you feel like you're rocking the boat, or you feel like you don't know which way to go, what decisions to make. And so for me, going back to not being afraid to pivot and being confident and saying, you know what, I don't know what next looks like, but if I just keep going, it's going to get me to the clarity that I need. And so just keep going.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. I would say for me, the resilience part, finding your truth. And I think for a lot of it, it takes a long time to find your truth.
Yes, say that again for the people in the back.
It takes a long time to find your truth. Well, because I think we're in a society where we're people pleasers. Yes. I think inherently as humans, we want to be liked. We want people to like us, and we want to like other people, and we want to go everywhere we go. We want people to say, oh, what a great person she is, and oh, I just love her.
Yeah. Yeah.
but in reality, I mean, you think about, even the Tony Robbins of the world, or you think of the people, these gurus, not everybody likes them, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they have to hate them. I hope we're not haters here.
Yeah.
We're not haters at all. But going back to economic times and resiliency, kind of thinking where my business has gone, and this is what I tell my team. I can make money in any economy. When the market's up, you can make money. When the market's down, you make money. And, in real estate, I always say when businesses are growing, sometimes you only think of opportunity when you think about growth.
Yeah.
But in reality, some growth is a little different. So we saw during COVID, businesses shrunk their footprint. People weren't leasing as big of office spaces anymore. So they went from a larger space to a smaller space. Yeah. That's still an opportunity. And people don't look at it that way because they thought, well, I'm still helping them find the right fit for them. I'm still helping them grow, but in a different way. They might be downsizing here, but they might be upsizing somewhere else, and just trying to find value in what you provide, but then standing in your truth to provide it.
Yeah. That's good. Standing in your truth.
Yeah.
Standing in your truth.
During COVID, we grew Evie and I grew our business, our health and nutrition business. We grew that by 40%.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So we pivoted. So you were like, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do till you go through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we pivoted our business and grew by 40%. So then all of a sudden you have inflation. So now inflation's happening, and let's say that I don't even know. I'm not able to keep track of that, because people use
garbage. You're about to say garbage. I already knew it.
So people you're like, oh my God, inflation and these things in there, and I'm like, I don't even pay attention to that because it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. It matters what actions we take and what value we're providing. So cost of things may go up or down, but value is what we can create for others to see in the economy, and then they'll come to you. So just over the last year and a half, again, we grew by 30% during the inflation period of time. So is it inflation? Is it a down economy? Is it a crazy virus that interrupts everybody? It just doesn't matter. It matters. Be like a river and flow. Know what your purpose is, know what you're going after, and stay focused on it, and just keep on persevering and getting through to the resilience.
I think a lot of times people assume that their value doesn't have value. And what I mean by that is that, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it because I think people get that. I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
Anyone can get the real estate license. I mean, you don't need a college degree. You don't need a lot of technical skills. Now, to be successful in it, you need to learn the business. But I guess that sometimes I surprise myself by thinking, I am providing value to a client, but it's not rocket science. I'm not providing them something they couldn't go out and learn it themselves. They couldn't go out and research it themselves. They couldn't put the deal together themselves. But in reality, they can't. And that's why I'm here. And so I have to remember that, I am here because they want me to be here. I'm here because they value me being here. And conversely, I'm going to get compensated for my value.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Well, what's interesting about the value is working with somebody that sees the value in you and pulls that value out that is already there. But because the world, typically, whether it's school or social media, whatever it is, we're constantly comparing. And then people will kind of give that illusion that we're less than, whether it's us or whether it's somebody else. And so when we finally start to establish that value, that we are valuable and that we do have value to provide people, you step into your truth, and now nobody can knock you down. And I think there's whatever it is, an African proverb. I heard our old buddy
Myron,
not Myron, but Miles.
Yes.
Miles Monroe. Yeah. If there is no enemy within, then no enemy on the outside can harm you. Oh. And so typically the reason why people don't have their resilience is because they are fighting those inner demons. They are fighting the insecurities. They are reading all the tabloids, more or less, social media, Instagram, about all these bad things are happening and the excuses on why we can't move forward with things. So what you said about value there is, I would say that most people study. There's an acronym or saying that's be, do, have, and most people study the do and have. What do I have to do to get what I want? But what they don't do. Now this goes back to Myron when he said, but so many people lack the be.
The be.
Who is the human
on.
being? What value
Yeah.
do they provide? What education do you need to go out and search in order to raise your own value so you become confident and competent at whatever you're trying to do? A gal just talked to me about that this morning. Shout out to Brianna. I was talking to her. She's like, Anthony, I just signed my first client for this amount of money. And she goes, I did not think that I had that much value. But then I've been listening to Myron for like a year. And she goes, and now I understand. See, the amount that she could get or that anybody could get for their business for whatever they're trying to do is there. But until their being catches up with the doing and the having, is that they won't get it.
Absolutely.
That's so good.
Let's focus on the being for a second.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that, we just talked about value and we talked about resilience. And I think that is the secret sauce. And I'm sure those of you that are listening to us that have, that are interested in this topic, learning how to level up, learning how to grow, how to be successful in their own right. I feel like that first step in being, sometimes it's hard when you don't have a reference point.
Yeah.
You've never experienced that before. And I'm sure a lot of people are saying, I want to be financially successful. I want to be successful in this way. I can't see it yet. And if I can't see it, I can't be it. So where in your experience, the two of you in your lives, have you stepped into the being, even when the being didn't exist for you in your life? You didn't have proof of it yet. How'd you do that?
Well, I want to piggyback off of what Anthony was saying, and I'm smiling ear to ear because I was literally just talking to someone about this exact conversation just the other day. And so I know we are very familiar with the saying that comparison is the thief of joy. I want to flip that and say that imposter syndrome is the thief of joy. I really don't think that people have a clarity problem. It really goes back to a belief problem. People do not believe in themselves, and I think that is very difficult for them to get to the doing, to get to the having, because in order to be, you have to believe in you. And so it's interesting because I always like to use myself as an example because I no longer want to compare myself to all of these different people. But when I go back to where I used to be and having, imposter syndrome or not feeling confident or having a value problem or feeling like my story is not valuable, well, it was because I was comparing myself to people who were on chapter 30 and I was on chapter 10. Let's just start there. And then also too, that there was a season where I wanted to become this person and I wanted to have these things, but I had to learn to undo the things that were no longer working for me, right? So it's you laying in bed until 8 o'clock in the morning is no longer working for you.
8 o'clock, what?
Yeah.
Slacker.
Right? But for myself, it's if I want some me time, I have to get up at 5. I have to just maybe an hour or two earlier. And it's interesting how that small intimate time for myself allowed me to have a better day, allowed me to lead with clarity, allowed me to have just a better perspective, being grateful, having a moment of gratitude. So it's those small changes for me were waking up early, eating healthier, working out, making boundaries for myself, not saying yes to everything anymore, not saying yes, I'm available all the time. I really had to distance myself from activities and people who were draining the purpose that I know that I was needing to walk out. And it's interesting how my business has not even been fully marketed yet. I know a lot of people are familiar with authentic media, but now I'm proud to say I used to be oh, it's this little thing. It's no. I have not marketed my business at all besides social media, but fully marketed it. And we have been able to help over 30 plus businesses off of referrals. What in the world, right? And so it's interesting because it's we don't like to celebrate the little wins. We're it's okay, it's this little thing, but it's no, that's a big thing. You helped 30 businesses. You were able to help them with professional photos. Now they feel confident. Now they can go out and market a different way. And so I think it's going back to understanding what do you need to undo? What are some habits that you need to release? What are some belief systems that you've been kind of victimized to or you were encouraged to believe by friends or family members? And it's interesting because I just had a lot of just thought processes that I think were draining just the way that I was becoming, but not realizing it until I was what do you believe and why do you believe it? like asking yourself why, right? And so I think walking in that confidence and going back to my firm foundation of God and faith and surrounding myself with people that are pushing me towards purpose, honestly have put me in the space of becoming, which is now attracting things that are for me. So it's like, I no longer chase anything. It's kind of like, if you want to work together, let's work together. And if it doesn't work out, it is okay, honey. I promise you, I'm not losing anything. And going back to your language, like, what are you saying? What are you speaking over yourself? Like, being careful. And when I listen to people speak, it's like, be careful what you say, because you are manifesting things over your life. And so if I sometimes have moments of doubt, it's like, okay, you know what? I don't feel confident right now, but I will work on that. And so it's just like being your own cheerleader. So long explanation, but just saying, like, really just kind of like dissect yourself first and figure out, okay, what is no longer working for me? This is no longer working because it's not getting me to where I want to be. And so I think making those small adjustments for me personally has put me on this path of clarity, confidence, boldness. And it's like, even if I don't feel it, it's like, we're going to faith it until we make it. Not fake it, but we're going to faith it. So,
that's awesome. I think you brought up a couple things, just using different words and how you structure what comes out of your mouth. I hear people say a lot, I have to do something versus I get to do something.
Yeah.
Just that one little word
changing
just goes from a negative to a positive and goes from a burden to an opportunity. So just be mindful of that. So Anthony, what about you? How did you come into your being?
Man, that started, I was probably at the highest point of insecurity maybe about 12 years ago, something like that. And I was addicted to affirmation and addicted to applause and addicted to people pleasing, all those things. So anything that I did wasn't done authentically. So therefore, I was always an imposter syndrome. How am I going to show up? Are they going to like me? Am I doing the right thing? Am I walking fast? Am I smiling? Did my shoes the right shoes? My belt the right belt? Like all those things all the time. And then I literally just had a faith moment where I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. So I was living in a heightened state of like anxiety or depression, which I didn't know till years later. But what ended up happening is my way to fix it, I didn't know to go see a therapist because I didn't know I was going through a thing, was to get stupid on personal professional development. So I couldn't sleep anyway. So I'd go to bed at like 10, I'd get up at 3. And then from 3 to 7 or 8, I've done every single thing from Tony Robbins, every seminar, every book. I've done everything from Jim Rohn. I've done everything from Darren Hardy. I've done everything like inside the Bible, all kinds of sermons. And I've got all these journals for that year of growth. But it was all those things that I spent trying to discover the belief in myself and the being person that then ended up creating this thing. And I always try to make sure that people understand I'm not trying to be arrogant by saying, I don't care what you think about me. And people are like, that's an arrogant thing to say. Only if that's only arrogant if the other person's in an insecure place because that's the way they think about it.
Right.
that part. Yeah.
But it's also probably the most freeing thought you could have.
Right.
No, seriously.
It doesn't mean that I am a there's a difference between being pompous.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not pompous attitude. That's a new word.
Yeah.
So attitude or arrogance, but what it was confidence with who God created me to be and what my purpose is on earth. But the thing is that people, again, don't find their truth that you said earlier. So therefore, there's no study done. Well, in that study that I accidentally did for a year, I am discovering the truth, why I'm here, who brought me here, and how I'm supposed to serve people. And all I have to do when I look at the Clifton Strength Finder and I look at my number one skill, which is learning, second is maximizer, third is strategic, and then leadership. And then I also look at my spiritual gifts and I tie those together using ChatGPT and I say, hey, do all these things and tell me what I'm supposed to dig in more to use my gifts to serve the world. Is in that discovery, it's like, and that's like my tagline on my website is to become unlocked, unleashed, to create an undeniable life. But that was 12 years ago, and it is a process. But most people will not go through the process because it takes time, but they will do the process of watching Netflix, from watching Amazon, from watching social media,
TikTok.
from watching TikTok, from they'll study other people's disastrous lives, and then they wonder why they're currently living the life just to make a dollar, or just to make a paycheck, or they have anxiety, depression, or they're on meds. All that thing is all related.
Right. Which is all really a distraction if you are fully aware of what's going on. Right. And it's like, how often are we taking social media breaks? Right. Because I think there was a time too where it's like, okay, I need to be on social media so I can promote my business. Right. But going back to like, do you need to be on social media? Right. Like, or do you not know how to really work it yet? And so I think it's understanding that you're not missing out on anything. The amount of times I've went on social media fast, it's like, you're not missing out on anything. I promise you. But I feel and understand the thought process around the scarcity of like FOMO. I'm going to miss out. I need to be promoting my business. I need to be marketing it. I have to be in the know. And it's like, I promise you, like Anthony said, if you just take time to literally like just go within, take time to yourself, you would come back and you would literally accelerate in a way that you would not even imagine if you just trust the process. But I think the microwave success and feeling like you're gonna miss out is truly like just really a burden on a lot of people's like mindsets. And it's really, really disturbing and sad to see when it's like you see so much potential in people, but it's like, dang, if you would just like unplug.
Yeah.
Just like give yourself 90 days. I promise you it is so worth it.
And what they probably don't realize until they have a chance to take a break is that instead of them leading the charge, the social media channel is leading the charge. Somebody else they don't even know is telling them what to do. Just like, I'm sure, Anthony, when you were going through this and trying to figure out, okay, who am I and what is that? I can think about myself. It made my mind go back to, I always wanted to make sure that this person was pleased with me. That this person said, good job, or noticed me.
Yeah.
It was usually an older person or more successful person, but I was looking for their approval. I'm like, if I do it the way they do it and I have success, then we just won something. But what I realize is that I'm not them.
Right.
And I can't do it the way they do it.
Right.
I don't sound the same. I don't look the same. I don't want to.
Yeah.
They're amazing. But it's like, I can't emulate that. And why should I?
Yeah.
Let's talk about discipline for a minute. And what does discipline mean for you outside of your business? Because I think
that's good.
I get asked this from people too, is that very few people that I know that are crazy successful are unhealthy, are in bad relationships, don't know who they are. And so I feel like if we talk about, especially in the entrepreneur space, if you want to be wealthy and successful and settled and have all those things, discipline has to come in for all those areas of your life. So what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you?
Okay, so I've heard it said this way, which I like, is it says discipline is what creates the habit. Once it becomes a habit, you no longer need discipline. So people will say, and when I started getting up at whatever time in the morning, now it's 4, but people will be like, you're so disciplined to get up at 4 a.m. and you do your personal study, you do your professional study, then you head to the gym, then you come home.
Yeah.
Well, yes, 12 years ago when I created that habit, but then the habit took over and I no longer have to be disciplined. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you even wake up to an alarm clock?
This morning I didn't. I think I woke up at like 3:45 or something like that, and I just kind of laid there.
Casual.
I'm like, this is great.
3:45, just
I'm like, this is
casual.
fantastic. And I was like ready to go. So it was great, but that's also because of getting enough sleep. That's also eating enough food.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're eating right, you're exercising right, you're breathing right, like all those things, like you're not exhausted to peel yourself out of bed.
Yeah.
And so again, when you look at discipline usually is something that you have to create behavioral habits that will then lead you down a path, but then it becomes automatic.
What about you? What does discipline mean to you in your life, and what have you enacted it with different areas?
It's no longer compromising areas that cost me emotional decisions that put me back in a place that I no longer want to be, right? So that was very mouth-wordy, but basically saying that discipline for me is taking enough time for myself. So I'm a very social person. I like to engage with a lot of people. I like to interact with a lot of people with my positions and job. It's like I'm very face forward with a lot of people. And so as I grow older, I'm recognizing how important it is for me to have quiet time by myself. And it's crazy because I used to be this dependent person that was like, let's go get coffee together. Let's go do this and that. And now it's like, I actually prefer to go by myself. I actually enjoy being alone and having quiet time. So basically saying if I have to compromise certain things, like whether it's, quiet time, going on a walk has been like my daily routine lately. It could be a quiet walk with me and my dog, me and Angel, which is, a lot anyway. Going on a walk and having that quiet time, whether it's just like getting up early and reading a couple chapters in a book that I'm doing, if I have to compromise any of that because I have to go to a meeting or I have to go be involved in another project or there's not enough meetings in the world. It's just like not worth it to me, honestly. So it's like compromising places and spaces I used to be at the cost of my emotions. It's kind of like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay. Which is weird because I used to be queen of meetings. I'm like, yeah, let's go every week.
Pack it on.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is that a packed calendar, a full calendar is no longer attractive to me. If I look at my week and my entire week is full of meetings, I'm like, okay, where do we need to pull back here? Right? But I think it took me a while to like recognize that I no longer thrive off of a full schedule. Because before I used to. I'm a doer. I like to stay busy. But
you probably felt needed. I'm sure.
For sure. And it felt good.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like as you grow older and like understanding like as a creator, like you need time to process. You need time to just like be still, not listen to anybody's voices, especially just like how loud the world is right now. I don't know about you guys, but it just feels very loud. And maybe it's just me because I'm in my quiet time. So when I come out, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? I go to work, I go to these different meetings and everyone has questions. And it's like, oh my God, I just want to go back inside. Oh my God.
You hit on something though too. I pay a huge amount of attention to energy, how I'm feeling, not just emotionally, but physically.
Yeah.
And, I've done a lot of reading about introverts and extroverts and what that looks like and how you change over time and what fills your cup and things like that. Sure. But I also think about, I know you both are very physically active and you pay attention to what you put in your body. And I'm a firm believer in if I am not feeling good, there's a reason why. And sometimes it's just a physically like, I'm tired this morning. Why am I tired?
Yeah.
Is it because, is it the weather or allergies or I didn't eat well last night or didn't sleep well last night? What am I thinking about? So I kind of do an assessment of that. And I feel like it's the discipline of understanding your body, but also making sure as I get older too, I tell my husband constantly, I'm like, I want to be 80 and feel good and not feel like I'm in pain and feel like I still have the energy to be engaging and to enjoy things and to grow. I mean, there shouldn't ever be a stopping point.
Yeah. I heard a phrase the other day, I think you'll like, you both will like. They said, we are no longer moving forward in the health industry by talking about lifespan. Now we're talking about health span.
Yeah.
So it's not the length of time, just the length by itself. Now it's length plus quality.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
I was like, yeah.
I think even too, Kirsten, listening to you, I think I truly desire doing everything with intention versus like before, I think I was giving like 80% here, 80%, 75 here. And I just felt like I wasn't fully giving everything that I was being called to do. My 100, like Eric Thomas says, 120%. Are you giving everything 120%? Yeah. And it's like, I noticed there was areas I wasn't. And I think as soon as I started to pull back in certain areas, I'm able to show up fully and intentional in like 120%. And I'm like, I love this feeling. And I prefer to do that over just like, I'd rather be busy.
Yeah. Let's talk about risk. So I feel like if you're in business, so I know we're kind of doing like a little mini class conversation here. We're finding our being, we're finding our intention. We're figuring out who we are and what our value is. But I feel like the next leap to be successful, whether you're branding, you're coaching, you're working your business, you're building your financial wherewithal, is the comfort in taking risks. So what does that mean to you? Where have you taken risks?
Okay, I really think risk starts with belief, right? So the reason why it's even called a risk, it's because you are doing something that is uncomfortable, right? And you are doing something that is not normal maybe to certain people. And so I think for me, risk is how much do I really believe in myself to know that if I were to invest X amount of money, I believe it's going to come back to me, right? Or how much do I believe in this person to invest in that person that I believe that it's going to quadruple or double or whatever the case may be, knowing it's going to come back. Or a risk might be like, you know what, I'm going to invest in you and I'm okay with it not returning. But I think for me, it starts with belief. Taking a risk for me recently this year, this seems small, but it was truly speaking about my faith. And I think it was because I was told growing up that no one is going to be attracted to that.
Interesting.
And talking about faith in God and business is basically you're going to turn off like basically all sorts of people. You're going to start becoming the Christian girl. You're going to start attracting certain people that you don't want, right? There was all of these opinions is what I call them now. They were just opinions and perspectives of people telling me not to talk about my faith. And so I think for me, for the longest, if you've been following me for a while, you could say, oh, you have been talking about it. And it's like, yeah, but I don't think it's been on this level in a way of like being open and vulnerable about it and letting people know like this is what I stand for. I had someone ask me the other day, if someone is not a Christian or if they don't believe in God, would you still serve them? And it's like, that's an interesting, bold question, right? And it's like, I told them what I would say right now is I'm called to serve whoever is being led to me. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. I don't look at that. It's like as God's children, we are called to serve all types of people, right? Like love your neighbor as God has loved you. But I would say that has been the biggest risk for me is putting my faith on display and knowing and having faith in believing that my business is going to grow to a space that beyond I can even imagine or think. And it's going to be big. And I'm super excited.
That's great.
So
I'm excited. We're gonna ride your shirt.
You're gonna come along with me.
We're just gonna be in the wake. We're gonna be running behind you. You're gonna be.
We're gonna be speaking together.
I know.
Literally. We're gonna be like, do you guys remember this moment when we were in Kirsten's like office? Now we're on stage together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Risk. I've gotten to the point where the risk of loss of potential weighs tons, and the risk of money or the risk of making the wrong decision weighs ounces. So I do believe that we're called to serve the potential that we possibly can. And potential is like a horizon because you will never know. You only reach your potential when you die.
Oh.
Because you can always grow up until the day you die.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like the horizon. So I want to go out of this world climbing up the next mountain, not sliding down the last one. Right. So the only risk to me is not risk is the risk of not becoming constantly reaching for that potential to serve as many people as I possibly can in whatever conversations or business that I'm supposed to. Right. Like that's why I love like Myron Golden he's got his phenomenal YouTube channel and he calls it, I forget, like that's his community content or something like that.
Like his free community or something like that.
Free community content. Yeah. And I'm telling you, there are 18 master's degrees within his YouTube channel, right? Just go listen to his things. They're magical.
Crazy.
But he doesn't charge for it. But he does charge for other things. So he's able to serve people at that level in a huge, great way and help them reach their potential without the worry of money. And Jim Rohn had once said, take care of the money so that way you no longer have to worry about getting money or earning money. It will come.
Yeah.
He said, I don't need the money, but I'll take the money. When a company offered him, they're like, hey, if you come on board with us, and this is like back in the early 90s, we'll pay you millions a year to be an advisor, but he was already retired. And he said, I don't need the money, but I'll take the money if it's something that aligns and I can still, help people.
Yeah.
And so again, the risk for me is the risk of succumbing to my own insecurity and fear.
Yeah.
Right? That's a risk. I don't serve or help somebody. I let somebody drown, whether it's through anxiety, depression, or their business or their mindset, whatever it is, because I have not made myself available to do that. I don't want to risk that. I don't want to risk I think what I do is I don't want to risk people's lives. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want my own insecurities, fears, or what I don't know stop me or prevent me from serving people in my greatest capacity.
Yeah.
And I will never know what that is until I die.
Yeah.
And it will be written probably by ChatGPT.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes back to
of course it will.
don't be like hearers of the word, be doers of the word, right? So it's like, how much are you living up to your full potential, like fully? Mm-hmm. Like, are you going back to, are you 120%? Or are you giving each part of your life just like 80, 20, 50? I'm telling you, it's a different mindset, 120%. I'm going to send you guys the video.
Mm-hmm.
I think with risks, though, too, you can take risks to test your risk tolerance. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is that some people think, oh, I could never go into business for myself because I can't risk my financial, I support my family. I'm a single parent, whatever it is. You don't have to start there. Mm-hmm. You can start taking risks and like test yourself.
Yeah.
It's like I actually saw on social media, I admit, there was parents that were teaching their young babies how to swim. Mm. And they literally took, an 18-month-old and like tossed them into the pool, right? I'm like, whoa!
Yeah.
Tossed them into the pool, no life jacket. And the thing is that this young little tyke didn't know any better. And their natural instinct was to move and swim to the top. Mm-hmm. And so I think about that. I'm like, okay, because they have no fears yet. I mean, they're 18 months old. Yeah. They probably thought, oh, water's fun. They don't know that you can drown in water. They have no idea. So they just go and their parent just throws them in the water. And if you think about it as an adult, what if Anthony were to throw you into the deep end of the pool? You probably like, wow, you probably freeze and get, but what if you just said, I'm gonna do something today. In fact, I have behind Danielle sitting on my windowsill, I have a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt that says, do one thing every day that scares you. And I that's kind of my mantra. And I think about when I got into business and, raising my daughter. And I remember, thinking about she was probably 6 or so, and we were out to eat one time, and she wanted to go get a little dessert at the counter. And they had, a little display. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Mom, could I get a cupcake right up? I said, well, sure, honey, but you're going to go order it yourself. And she just looked at me. And I mean, you could almost picture and feel what that was like for you. If you were 6 years old, you're like, and so she had like $5 that I gave her, and she walks up to the counter, ma'am, may I please have a cupcake? And then she did it. Right. And she came back, and I'm like, how did that feel? She goes, really good. But I mean, that is just a very, very small example of risk.
Right.
She took a risk. She wanted that cupcake bad enough.
Yeah.
She was willing to go ask for it all by herself. And they could have said something silly to her, or they could have ignored her, or they could have said, you don't have the right change. They could have said all sorts of things. She didn't know that.
Yeah.
She just went and got her cupcake.
Yeah.
So can I explain what I heard like a couple weeks ago? It's called like the and what mentality, right? So I was like listening to a sermon, and the pastor was talking about how sometimes you have to and then what mentality, meaning you have to just like spell out this scenario in your head so you can just get over this fear of what you think could happen, may not happen, like the if men happen, like you just have to get over that. And so he was explaining about how he had this fear, he had this like book opening, what is it called? When you write a book and you have like
a book signing.
A book signing, thank you, event. And he had this fear that no one was going to show up. And so his friend challenged his thought, and he said, okay, well, what if someone doesn't show up? And then what? And then he explained what he would, what could imagine. He's like, well, I would just, talk to the people that are there. He's like, okay, and then what? I would probably just go home. Okay, and then what? And so as he was like helping him spell out this whole and then what scenario, it's like sometimes you just have to do that sometimes when it comes to, okay, if I invest in this business and nothing comes back, and then what? Like, what are you going to do? So you can kind of like get over this fear mentally, without you feeling like constrained to, I don't know what's going to happen. And then like things are going to just go crazy. But it's like, and then what? What's really going to happen?
Right.
Like just spell it out for yourself.
Good, bad, and whatever.
Yeah.
When I started my company a number of years ago, I had a friend say to me, because there's a lot of anxiety, trusting yourself and, okay, I'm doing it. And I was excited. But he's like, okay, Kirsten, worst case scenario, you go out and get a job. I'm like,
You're already doing that.
okay. Yeah, I can get a
You're
job.
like, yeah, I could do
I
that.
have one of those.
Yeah.
I think I can get one of those.
Like, spell it out. You'll be okay.
Oh, duh. Isn't
Yeah. Yeah.
that crazy?
Yeah, it's not
It's
the end
like
of the
I
world.
didn't even
No.
wasn't even on my radar to think about that.
But I think we're so focused in on this one thing, this one decision. Like, it has to be this way. But as soon
Right.
as you release that and surrender that and you're just open, like I've been in this, it's crazy. I feel like that's what keeps me, I've been at peace lately. I've been in this whole like, just open. Like my hands are so open and like wherever you want to send me, however you want to use me, I am here and available to a certain extent. Depends on like, right, who you're sending me to, where I'm going.
Of course, yeah.
But just more so like I have this open posture and surrender of wherever you want to use me, God, however you want to use me, I'm available for you. And whatever that looks like. There might be times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want to do this. But then when you get back into this mindset of gratitude of, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm so grateful of what's currently happening. You would be so surprised of just everything that is like released from you. Your body, you're like, you start to feel better. Just like your whole energy and mindset shifts. It could be something so small. I really don't want to do this presentation. Okay, why not? Because I'm tired. Like I have to go through the whole process. But then as soon as I'm like sitting there and I'm thinking about, well, I have an opportunity to like present. I have an opportunity to practice. I have an opportunity to do something I've never done before. It's all about perspective.
And you got to give up perfection too. That's
That
a hard
part.
one. It's a big hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, when we look at like even business risk, I always tell people like, I was talking to a gal this morning and I said, when she's looking at like starting her own business, and I said, hey, we talked last week about some actions that you need to take. I said, tell me where you were at on those actions. And she said, I didn't do it. And I said, okay, I need you to write something out for me. I said, do you remember like a month or so ago, I walked you through this formula called the change formula. It's dissatisfaction times vision plus first steps have to be greater than your resistance to change. She's like, yeah, vaguely. I said, okay. Dissatisfied. How dissatisfied are you right now? Now, this gal has worked for this company for 7 years that she's been working for. They have, they gave her, she called it random conversation I had with her a couple of weeks ago. They gave her final notice or something. I go, well, what's that? She goes, I've never been written up. And I always have out of all these types of managers, operations managers, she always has the best operations percentage, however metrics they work that. And I made one mistake on a spreadsheet and they gave me a final notice. And I've worked here for 7 years. I work overtime and da-da-da-da. She goes, I just can't believe you did that. And I said, do you remember when you told me that? She goes, yeah. And I said, okay, so you didn't do what I asked you to do, these little activities that you agreed to that aren't that difficult. So you obviously aren't that dissatisfied with them just being able to fire you at any point in time. You also don't have a clear and compelling vision for the future that you're trying to create for your family and your kids. And I said, so I need you to write this out for me. I do not care enough about the future of my family and my children to live an amazing life.
Ooh.
And she goes, oh. She goes, that hurts.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, well, why did, I said, it wasn't a difficult, I know. I said, but you let your fear drive what you say you want, but you haven't made it, you haven't ingrained that clear and compelling vision. You have not ingrained your dissatisfaction for the way that you're being treated. So therefore, your family and your kids are the ones that are going to suffer off the future that you're denying them.
Wow.
And she's like, okay. I said, so guess what your assignment is for next week?
Perspective, literally.
Right.
Totally
So when
perspective.
people talk about risk, like we really got to dig deep about what risk means. Because what are you risking? She's risking hanging up her shingle at this place that is ready to fire her at any point in time just because they choose to or some whatever. There's no loyalty there.
Right.
They're not loyal to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She should be loyal to her family. And that's where her energy should be. So go create something beautiful. But it takes work. It takes risk. It takes getting out there. And Evie and I think Jim Rohn said it this in the way that he's done things and he's passed away now for a long time, but But he said, I have fallen out of the sky a couple times. Well, my risk tolerance has gone way up because Evie and I have fallen out of the sky a couple times chasing this entrepreneurship journey.
Hands down.
We've been essentially broke twice, right?
Yeah.
After saving a ton of money, after paying off houses
Isn't that
at a young
crazy?
age.
Yeah.
And we had to use all that money to survive.
Yeah.
But you know how to do it now.
But we know how to do it.
Like you're flexing the muscle. Like
That's right.
You've done it again. You know, you
It's
can
the-
probably do it in your sleep.
It's
You're
the
like, I know exactly
confidence
what happened.
that it's actually what's funny is you develop a confidence from actually falling out of the sky. Nobody wants to fall out of the sky.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I
true,
did not
yeah.
want to fall out of the sky,
Yeah.
but it built up that callus and that strength
Yeah.
to know we've got this. Like we're a freaking great team. Like we
Right.
can do this together.
Yeah.
We're great together as long as we're aligned.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, you brought up a good word, alignment. Alignment. Yeah. And that I think it's sometimes is so hard to get out of alignment. Whether it's alignment for your goals or your purpose or your values or, where you're headed. And not to say it can't change. And I know I've done some exercise with my team before and with myself. I think sometimes we get going and we're just head down and we're doing the things. And we're okay. We're doing okay. And we're like, I feel like I'm not achieving these leaps and bounds, but I'm just not feeling it. And so I always challenge them to do a little exercise. I'm like, you need to look backwards. You look backwards, go a year behind, go 5 years behind, and write down all of the things that you were. Where were you? And you might think, okay, well, I was nobody. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, okay, were you in a relationship yet? Were you a parent yet? Were you a homeowner? What was your title? Did you serve in a certain capacity in certain ways? I mean, get granular with that.
Yeah.
And do a little reflection, and then do it is now. What are you now? What are those things are for you now? And then what can you be? And I feel like when I do that exercise with myself once a year, as I'm thinking about goal setting, I'm always surprised. I'm always surprised. I'm like, wait a minute, I did that. Okay.
Yeah.
But then it helps me get back in alignment sometimes when I think about, okay, remember 5 years ago when I said I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I wanted to serve in this capacity. And I either did it or I didn't do it. But it's kind of a checks and balance system. And then it kind of helps right the ship a little bit. You're like, what haven't I done? And sometimes it's falling out of the sky and failing to be like, I don't want that anymore. I tried it. It didn't work. It's okay. I might have lost a lot of money. I mean, I can't tell you how many things I've dropped money on, doing this, doing that, because you don't know yet. And you don't know how it's going to work. And it's kind of gratifying when you get a chance to be like, got it. I learned the lesson. I figured it out. I know where I'm supposed to be. And then you pivot and you get to hone in and you get to really narrow your focus. And when you do that, magic happens. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that alignment thought process. But again, you go back to truth, you go back to who we are, you go back to risk, you go back to all the stuff.
right. So we have something exciting news that we are going to announce on this podcast.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Who wants to talk about it?
Go ahead. You're the hostess. You're doing good.
I'm the host today.
You're the
It's
hostess.
great.
You're the hostess. Yeah.
So coming up in October, we've hosted a couple of free live webinars that have been a lot of fun. We've loved the audience who've engaged with us, and we've kind of gone through different elements of our areas of expertise. But we are going to do a live in-person event in October.
Oh my gosh. I'm so
excited.
So excited. I know. We're like kids at the candy store. We're like, this is the moment we've been waiting
Man,
for.
I just got goosebumps just talking
No,
about it. Like, I'm so
seriously.
excited.
So we want to bring you in October 24th, which is a Friday. It'll be a half-day session. We're going to have it in Topeka, Kansas. So make your travel plans now. We'll provide all kinds of details where you can come if you're traveling in from out of town. You can get accommodations, how to register. There'll be some, fun things that go along with it. But more importantly, we want to spend that time with you to do a deep dive into the areas of branding, business, and wealth, because we feel like what a great time of year to help you get ready to launch whatever it is you want to do.
Let's go. 2026.
Oh my
go.
gosh. So
Let's
exciting.
go.
So
Oh my
exciting.
God.
So and we'll have
Yeah.
some surprises we'll be rolling out too, but we don't want to tell you all the details just yet.
That's right.
But please watch us as you're listening to us today. You can follow each of us on our respective social media channels, all online, our websites, get on our email list. If you're not on already, make sure you DM us and get us your information because you don't want to miss out how to register.
Yeah. I'm
Way to
excited.
kill it. Come on, queen. See, I'm like, you're doing it.
I could be a TV journalist,
You
broadcaster.
can. You're doing it.
No,
You can be a podcast host.
Please don't
like
be.
you are.
Please don't be one of those anchor
Actually-
ladies.
Anchor ladies.
Hi, this is Danielle talking about the
Oh
weather.
my God. Yeah.
I was thinking of Ron Burgundy, the anchorman
Oh,
guy.
Oh
gosh.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited about when everybody comes in, and I know the value just from creating this friendship with you guys, and the value that's going to be during that session is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be interactive. If somebody does not pull one nugget out of that entire half day session, then they were sleeping or they were on their phone or they were out of the room because I don't know. I mean, with the years of experience that each one of us have in our own category, with the amount of people that we've been able to serve, and then we get to come together to do something awesome and magical, it's just going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So we also have another fun announcement. We'll put it in all of the show notes and stuff like that. We have a new website we're rolling out called theedge.com. Follow us on all the socials. And so we hope to see you there.